It's been a very long day, Steven.
It's been a long day.
Yeah. Tell the audience, why has it been a long day? What have we been doing all day?
So for today, I decided to get my spare T50 rebuilt and then also installed today. So today was the big install day.
So what was wrong with your original T50 that you decided to, or maybe we're going too far. So what was wrong with your original T50 in the first place?
So my T50 had some issues. I had a lockout in second gear. So then, and then sometimes for my reverse, sometimes I would have issue. It would grind whenever I try to put it in. So those were like the two big issues. And I just thought it'd be a good investment over time to just get a new T50 rebuilt and like done, and with a M factory. Yeah.
So how come you decided, after all we talked about, how come you decided T50 again?
I realized that after after putting in the cost for building to rebuild a W58, like to get the rebuild and the driveline, I believe, to be redone, it would cost more than $2,000.
Okay.
Like more than the amount that it cost me for that T50 rebuild and the cost of the T50 itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you lucked out kind of this time because you bought that T50 from out of state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I bought it, I forgot what state, but I bought it like probably on the other side of the country.
Yeah.
And I bought it for about $250 shipped, which is very cheap.
So you can actually see that teardown video pretty soon. And in the video towards the end, you can see I pull out two pieces. Like, what is this? Do you kind of understand what happened? Because you went through the video already.
Yeah. Was it a needle or a spring? It was I forgot exactly. It was supposed to be one piece, right?
That's all supposed to be one piece.
Yeah, and then it just into two.
Or more than one piece.
Yeah.
So that's on each hub, there's two springs that hold the keys in place. And so it's common on the fifth and reverse hub, for the reverse side, the spring will pop out. So I imagine what happened was the spring popped out and the guy was like, force it into reverse.
Yeah.
And the spring probably broke.
Yeah.
Kind of the moral of this story is when people say I have a good T50 for sale, how do you really know it's good?
Yeah.
Again, right? The guy, what was his story again?
So the guy I bought from, it was just a spare T50, and he trusted the guy he got his parts from.
Yeah.
So I was like, sure, why not? You know what? Just take the gamble on it. And then it didn't turn out the best T50. It was not, but it has to be rebuilt anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Because this one, I think I replaced 2 gears in because of the engagement teeth were so heavily worn. So I would say it was in fair condition.
Yeah, fair. Okay.
But, if you were someone who bought a good T50, air quotes, with the intention of just running that thing out of the box, you would have been in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I built the spare for you. We installed the M Factory 5th gear. We just came back from the road test. How was the road test?
It was really good. Should I explain the bearing right now, or should I explain later?
Well,
because I think that was a big cause of a lot of the problems.
Yeah. So why don't we? I think we got ahead of ourselves too.
Yeah.
Before we talk about the road test, why don't we talk about some of the stuff we found during the install? Yeah, go ahead.
So one of the issues I saw that I believe it was the clutch wheel bearing, right? The clutch bearing.
So the pilot bearing. That sits inside the crankshaft.
Yeah. So that pilot bearing did not turn. It'll move, but it will not move smoothly.
Or in a full circle.
Yeah, in a full circle. Yeah. So that means that my my T50 was just rubbing metal on metal, or it wasn't. Yeah. Yeah.
So the input shaft, the tip of the input shaft sits inside the pilot bearing. So if you can imagine, and the video will be up on YouTube also of us doing the install and the road test. So the tip of that input shaft was actually worn off, right? It had a lip in it from wear. And that was because the input shaft was actually spinning inside the bearing instead of the bearing spinning itself. And we talked about too, like unfortunately, because someone put in the clutch and bearings incorrectly, that it essentially ruined a trans that was like pretty decent, you know?
Yeah. I had you want to explain the play? Like how do you tell? You know, like how you tell from the.
Oh, so when I say pretty decent, I mean from the amount of play in the input shaft. So you guys will check out the video on YouTube. But yeah, the in and out play, and then like the side to side, like actual axial play of the tip of the input shaft. The least amount of play, that means like the trans is probably in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
And in your trans, for me, it was like a shockingly like, yeah, this has a very minimal amount of play.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, because the tip of the input shaft got damaged, like it essentially turns the trans into junk now. Yeah. Just came back from the road test. So what are some road test impressions?
It drove really, really well. Like before, it would rev faster is one. It was more smooth. Like it's kind of a little hard to explain. Well, the shifting was smooth. Now that it has the bushings and everything, it's also more crisp. In the shifting.
So you'll see in the video we put the T3 shifter bushings in it.
Yeah. So that like it's very nice to shift now. Yeah. And then
where before I think common again T50 the bushings disintegrated, so you had no bushings in the shifter.
Yeah, that thing would play like I could move that like left and right. Yeah. So, it just driving on the road felt a lot nicer. It was like it would actually pick up compared to before, because I wasn't expecting myself to like drive that fast at all. No, I was like I didn't expect myself to put down like that's how I usually drive. Before it wouldn't be that fast, it wouldn't like rev up that fast and catch, like it would not grip that early.
The engine would not rev up as quickly before, and then the clutch would not catch.
It would it was a smoother catch too. It was like it's so hard to explain. It's like it just usually in first it would bog also if I did it wrong, but this time it just like I just usually did it, and then it would just smooth sailing.
I see.
Yeah.
I've had a similar experience with a leaking clutch master cylinder, where like the engagement point was everywhere. Like you could never predict where the engagement point was. Yeah.
So it just drove very smooth. Like I think that it's that bearing that messed everything up. Like it revved faster. Like it was just smoother in general.
Yeah.
Like it's just like you have to drive it to know.
Yeah. You know what? The other thing too is that we saw when we took the old trans out, a lot of like the internal stuff, like the throwout bearing fork and some other stuff was installed incorrectly.
Yeah. So, that's probably why too.
Yeah, that's probably a big part of it also. Yeah. So we have when I do T50 Rebuild, so we have just like regular. I directly told you buy the cheapest gear oil possible, $75.90. Yeah. So we have 2 quarts of that right now. So what I like to tell all my customers that I build T50s for, like, you think that thing shifts smoothly now, it's only gonna get better.
Ooh, okay.
Because all the new components, that thing still has to break in, and then that's not even the good gear oil in it yet. So you think it's good now, you have a lot more to it's only going to get better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can promise it's only going to get smoother. Yeah.
Ooh, that's going to be perfect.
Yeah. How'd you feel about the M Factory 5th gear?
It drops a lot, actually. Like, I guess just driving on regular roads, we were only going about 3,000 RPM. Yeah. It dropped 500 RPM. Oh, compared to before, it would just stay probably at 3,000 and go up a little bit more.
Yeah.
But now it drops 500, so it goes down to 2,500 RPM.
Yeah. Check. So the biggest where you're really gonna notice it is on the freeway. Yeah, I think at 70 you'll be at like 3,500.
Yeah, compared to like 5,000.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, on the freeway, M Factory 5th with the stock 4.3 is like super comfortable, super gas saving too. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason why I bought it, because like I'm gonna commute to school a lot. Because starting this quarter, I want a nice ride. I just want a nice ride.
I'm sure everyone does.
Yeah.
I'm sure no one's like, I would like a shitty ride.
Please. Yeah.
Yeah. It's always nostalgic for me to drive a Corolla with a T50 again, because I have the 6-speed.
Yeah.
But man, it's always for me it feels good because it's nostalgic. Like the T50 is the original trans for that car, and then also like it's rewarding for me, like how many hours I put into every rebuild, and then like here we are, like the car's driving, right?
Very perfect. Yeah.
But the biggest thing for me, like we've talked about before, the cost of parts and then how hard they are to get.
Yeah.
That's the biggest reasons why I've been trying to stray away from doing T50 rebuilds and then trying to how do you say it, like
advertise other transmissions,
or not advertise, but like how do you say it, like push development for other transmission options, because a lot of people I talk to don't know there's another option besides transmission rebuild, right? Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, any other questions, feel free, man.
Let's see.
Like, do you have any questions about like the rebuild process or anything, or like my history of building T50s?
Oh, you should explain it, actually. A lot of people know like your background history on like how popular you actually are on like 4AG. Like when people were asked like, oh, I need my transmission rebuilt, like who to ask, like your name pops up. Yeah, I remember 4AG. I was like, I think it was like someone asked, and I was like, oh, you should PM or like private message Ezekiel, like Autohaus. I was like, oh, okay. And then I looked it up on Facebook, and I'm like, oh, you're in San Jose. Yeah, so it's kind of like, whoop, it just clicked. I was like, oh.
So that's another difficulty with T50s too, is like even if you source all these parts, who are you gonna find that builds them?
Yeah.
So on the West Coast, there's only 2 of us actively building these. That's me, and then shout out to Swang Biz Devil Run Danny in SoCal, and you can hear him talk. I had him on the podcast. It's the SoCal Corolla Talk episode. Did you listen to that one yet?
I haven't listened to that one yet. Yeah.
Okay, look forward to it. Danny's a really cool guy too. Yeah.
If you guys don't know who Danny is, he also builds the bash bars.
Oh yeah.
For the front and rear, like really well, like 2-spec.
Yeah. So Danny, Devil Run, he builds the bash bars, the panhard support. He builds T50s. He does rear end work. I know because he's a like a master Honda tech, so he'll do wire harness for the S2000 swap into Corolla also. So shout out to you too, Danny, keeping these cars alive, man. I totally envy you, man. It's not easy. Yeah. Let's see. Is there anything about like the rebuild process you're interested in?
Let's see. Let's see what else. What's a good question? Maybe time. Talk about like how long, like on average, it take you to rebuild a transmission.
Okay, that's a really good point. It's not the actual build process that takes a long time. It's the cleaning. Yeah. Like 30 or 40 years, these transmissions are like 30 or 40 years old now. And so if you can imagine like 30 or 40 years of wear and like junk buildup.
Yeah.
And then typically these cars are not well maintained, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So you find a lot of surprises, like the amount of junk or like wear particles that are in the trans, or like in your case, like there's broken parts in the trans and like no one knew about it. Let's see. What was your question again?
Like how long, like on average, from like scratch, like from day one, does it take you to like rebuild?
Shit. Okay. So how long does it take me to rebuild? Let's talk about a full example, like a full build.
Yeah, full build, yeah.
So I'll go over the full build. So my full T50 builds right now, disassembly, inspection, the cases get hot tanked. After the hot tank, they get sandblasted.
Mm-hmm.
And then after sandblasting, hot tanked, and then parts washed again. And that's just the cases. We haven't even talked about the internals yet. And then there's always a casting flash on the cases, and then I always do at least a minor deburr. Like on yours, I did a minor deburr on the cases. So, we might be 8 hours there already.
Oh,
so just on the cases. We haven't even touched the internals yet.
Just on the cleaning.
Yeah, just on the cleaning.
Yeah.
And imagine I still got to tear down the 2 different shafts, and then my cleaning process, tear down. They'll go through the hand parts cleaner, and then they'll go through the ultrasonic, and then one more time through the hand parts cleaner. And what's it called? Before all that, I'll like inspect everything, make sure it's deburred, like this whatever components are okay to reuse, or if I need to replace something. But let's see, if we do 5 times 8, so
we're 40,
or hold on, 5 times 4, 20. Man, 30 or 40 hours into a trans is pretty good estimate into a full build.
That's
30 or 40 hours.
That's a full working day. That's what just say up to a full working week.
A full working week to build that trans. That's pretty accurate. Yeah. And again, it's tough, like running a business. I can't expect to charge you 40 hours of labor, right, for this transmission. So I mean, that's where it's tough, where doing this Corolla stuff's definitely like a labor of love. I mean, you guys are more than welcome to see all the Instagram posts of T50 and how clean everything is. So we'll call it 30 hours of labor minimum to build one of these things.
The part cleaner, like your part cleaner, that takes time. Like even just me cleaning out just the shift, just cleaning out parts, that took me a while. Like, I want to to get it clean. That takes a while because stuff does not come off. I
was gonna say, and then besides the parts cleaner, I gotta throw it in the ultrasonic after that, and then back in the parts cleaner once again.
That's a lot of hours.
I feel like that's important because have you heard the theory of like when people build stuff, it's like what's most important is what people don't get to see. So you'll probably never see the internals of your trans, but you can rest assured that like everything's like spotless clean inside.
It's kind of like kind of reminds me of like people who sell their 86.
Like
they sell it for a high price, but you don't know the work that they put in from day one, and like all the parts that they had to fix, build, buy into the car that's like they're selling.
I was gonna say like the hours that was put into
like how many years like they had it in that, like
exactly.
Like people just complain about how high it costs. It's like, oh, it's 30-year-old Colt, it should not be costing more than 10K. But in reality, if you think it over, how much time and like they put in, is like it's worth that price.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
On that note too, I know you wanted to talk about, you suggested that it would be good for me to talk about like basic maintenance for newer Corolla owners. So what kind of questions do you have about that?
I think a good one is like, let's say if you find an 86, okay, you buy an 86. What should be the first thing to change other than the usual, other than fluids? Because like fluids is usually the usual, and then usually basic maintenance is like first spark plugs, and then it become oil, and then becomes any of the diff or trans fluid would be next. Is there anything else I would say after that?
I think besides fluids, the only other thing I can think of is stuff that's typical of like a 30-year-old car. So like any of the components that wear down with time, so like rubber components. So like brake lines have been a pretty common thing at the Autohaus recently, where
Yeah.
like people have the original brake lines from 30 years ago,
Oh,
and they're either like if your rubber brake line's hard, that thing needs to be replaced by now.
Oh, okay.
So any rubber parts like brake lines, coolant lines, coolant itself.
Coolant stuff. Oh, okay.
Coolant gets super neglected.
Mm.
Don't quote me on this, but typically older coolant like the Toyota Red, I think the maintenance interval is like 2 years.
Mm.
So every 2 years needs to drain and fill the coolant. Again, don't quote me on it, but you need to look up in the service manual itself. But coolant gets really neglected. Usually, I see like the wrong kind of coolant in it, or like the red coolant turns like really light pink. Like, oh man, this is probably full of water already.
Oh, okay. So it's always Toyota Red.
In these
coolant.
cars, always Toyota Red.
Okay.
So the new Toyota Pink is actually backwards compatible, but I prefer like this thing. Manufacturer wanted Toyota Red in this thing, so like I'll put the regular Toyota Red back in it. Let's see, rubber components. Steering, all the front end stuff, steering components, and then wheel bearings are big. So maybe one day we'll do a video on how to check wheel bearing and steering plate, because today we found out you have some play in your wheel bearings.
Yeah.
That's also really common because new cars have sealed wheel bearings. So a lot of people who get into like older vehicles with like wheel bearings where you need to adjust like the preload on them, like tapered wheel bearings, they don't understand like how to check for play in wheel bearings, or that they need to be regularly serviced, cleaned and repacked. Again, steering issues too, like I noticed there is some play in your steering, but not enough to really make me concerned.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, again, if the steering components like tie rods are like 30 years old, or even not common with modern cars, the steering rack itself should be disassembled and serviced, right? Like repacked and readjusted for preload and all that stuff. That's another thing to watch out for. Bushings are big too.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, bushings are big.
Oh, I was asking about that too.
Yeah.
Actually,
Go ahead. What you ask about the bushing? What did you want to ask about the bushings?
So bushings. Okay, so I daily drive. So I'm going towards. So when you daily drive, you don't want to. I hear like poly is not very good because you hear all the sounds. Versus rubber, which is like rubber is like meant so you get less of the NVH.
NVH noise. Noise, vibration, harshness.
Yeah. So then like if you don't want like a very like loud ride, you should go towards rubber. Well, I believe like OEM rubber.
As compared to poly.
Yeah. That's what I hear a lot. Yeah. You get the performance, but the trade-off is there. Your ride isn't like it's loud. It's just louder. Yeah.
I would disagree with that for our chassis. I've installed both the energy suspension and then the I forget what the other one is, but it's the red one.
Oh yeah, the regular poly ones.
Yeah. So I've done a lot of poly bushing installs, and there's no noise.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Poly bushing is probably one of my favorite upgrades for a stock Corolla, because like the car rides so much better. In my like layman's experience, it's like, wow, it's like a luxury car now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably next then.
Yeah. So like the old school is the TRD bushings, but yeah,
those are rare. Those are hard to find now. Yeah.
Exactly. Like where are you gonna find TRD bushings now? But if you get the Prothane, that's the Prothane's the red ones. So if you get the full like Prothane or energy suspension poly bushing kit, it's well worth it. Yeah. I think where you get the NVH is full Heim joints.
Okay.
Yeah. So I have the T3 four links in the back of my car. I bought them half and half, so half poly and then half Heim.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it.
Oh.
It was that bad.
Oh.
Yeah. So I ended up buying some aftermarket poly bushing ends, and I replaced all the Heims. So now my car, the four links, is poly bushing on both sides.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's as far as NVH, it's really Heim joints. Like
Okay.
people say, if you have a street car, like try to stay away from Heim joints.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see what else. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I think go over some specs, I guess. Like what fluids and like actual like fluid types, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's a really good. That's a really good. So like, what fluids are you most interested in?
Oh, okay, so I know that. Okay, the fluids I know is that oil is very dependent, can be very dependent sometimes, but
Yes.
stock is 10W30. No, 10W30.
Yeah, so in the factory service manual, or even on the oil cap, sometimes
Yeah.
it's 1030 for our engines.
Yeah.
But you bring up a good point because I know Chris, who congrats to Chris, got his engine back up running. He was buying some 530 amps oil for me, and it kind of dawned on me like, we're in California. It doesn't get cold out here,
Yeah.
so we don't need like the 10 weight cold weather protection.
Yeah.
So 530 in our car is probably fine.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna run 530 from now on.
Mm.
But if you live in a colder climate, you should look in in your owner's manual, because I think they recommend up to like 1530 if you live in a really cold climate, for that cold weather protection. But for us in California, like 530 is probably fine for us.
Yeah.
Let's see. So the other two fluids. Oh, really important power steering fluid.
Oh, okay.
Did you listen to the Rolla Life podcast recently?
Oh, I didn't listen. No.
Yeah. Shout out to the Rolla Life podcast. The last recent one, Turtle gave me a shout out for the power steering fluid. So do you know what these cars take for power steering fluid?
Automatic.
Yeah,
Automatic.
ATF.
Yeah. I remember your post. about that. Yeah, I was like, what? That
Yeah.
made no sense.
Yeah. It's funny, in the Rolla Life podcast you should listen. They were like, but it's the thing it's called, power steering. But no, if you look at the cap, it actually says like Dextron 4, let's say Dextron 4 ATF.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, in our cars, and actually in a lot of Toyotas, like I think the last modern Toyota I've had in here was like a IS300, right? And even on the cap, it says Dextron 4 recommended, or Dextron 4 only for the power steering system.
Oh, okay.
So even a lot of like more modern Toyotas, like let's say 2000s Toyotas, don't take power steering fluid. They take ATF.
Okay.
Let's see. So we also did your rear diff service today. What interesting stuff did you find? What did we find out about the rear diff?
Oh, so my rear diff has clutch plates that were installed. That too, right? No, like some aftermarket or clutch plates. That's one. And fluids. That fluid was, I think, fluid was different for me because we didn't run the regular 75/90. We ran 80 or
80 weight 90.
80 weight 90. Yeah.
So 80 weight 90 is the recommended weight for the rear diff.
Yeah.
I know like Weir gear sets, they'll say, we talked about Weir recommends Torco. Weir, in his instructions, he'll recommend actually 75/140 if you're gonna use like for racing use. Yeah. So because I carry AMSOIL, I also have 75/110, and then so normally I'll use a 110, but if it's like summertime where like at the track it might be like 100 plus, I'll put in the 75/140.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you're just daily driving the car, it's just a street car, like 80 weight 90 should be fine.
Okay.
The reason I noticed something was up in a positive way about your diff is because when we turned the wheels, both wheels spun at the same time, or in the same direction.
Yeah.
We were talking about how like typically, because these cars are 30 years old by now, the factory LSD is probably worn out, so it's essentially like an open diff now. Whereas yours, like I could grab both wheels and I couldn't spin them independently of each other. And then same thing when you reversed out of the shop and I could hear like one wheel like, I could tell like, wow, there's something a little more aggressive in here.
Yeah.
When I looked through the diff fill hole, I saw there was like windows cast into the factory diff the factory center diff or the factory differential, which tells me it's probably an OEM diff, but it's probably got like some sort of aftermarket clutch plates and springs in it. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do another thing. Don't run Redline, right? Do not run Redline.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, Redline, but I know we talked about back in the day on Club 4AG, Redline MT90 was like the de facto best fluid for the T50, which I don't agree with. And I know that from like real world track use. So I have a couple of recommended fluids. Motul 300 is really good. And then AMSOIL 7590 severe gear. Those are my two recommended fluids if you have a T50. Do you know why I don't recommend Redline MT90?
It gets too hot.
Let's see. Thermal stability is a better term for it.
Okay.
Yeah. So besides thermal stability, Redline gives you the impression of shifting well because it's physically thin. Have you ever like felt Redline between your fingers before?
I heard it's like thin.
It's like water
thin.
thin.
Yeah.
So Redline MT90 will give you the impression of shifting well because it's thin.
Yeah.
The problem, because it's thin, it doesn't offer the wear protection. Yeah, if you can imagine like a thin fluid like that, if it gets hot, imagine the shear strength.
Oh, okay.
And that's another thing, like thermal stability. So I'd be at like Laguna Seca on a hot day, and like already on my third session, I'd already be like, you can tell it would be harder to go into gear.
Oh, okay.
On my fourth session, I might actually be blocked out of gear. I remember multiple times like trying to do the 3-2 downshift or 2-3 upshift, and I'd be like blocked out of third. Like, okay, great, this totally helps me out, right?
Yeah.
But and then switching to Motul, I don't think I've had enough track days with a T50 on AMSOIL, but switching to Motul off of MT90 like totally solved those issues.
Oh.
And then even then, if it's a hot day like 100, I know Chris Van has been successful running 75-110 in his T50 for track days. Yeah.
Oh.
So to sum that up, if you have a T50, Motul 300 or AMSOIL 7590 severe gear. Yeah.
Don't go Redline.
Yeah, don't do Redline. It's funny. It's funny, people who read my I include break-in instructions with every T50 rebuild I do, and people always laugh at the end because this is like, do not recommend Redline. Yeah. So again, going back to the rear diff, I think one thing you didn't know that was really critical was the friction modifier. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's important.
Yeah. So go ahead, ask like, what was your question about the friction modifier?
Oh, okay. So I know that for aftermarket LCDs, like let's say like Tomei makes LCDs, right?
Tomei or Cos.
Yeah, Cos. Yeah. So they always recommend you to use their own their own LCD fluids.
Yes.
Yeah. But then when it comes to, in reality, you actually don't have to. Yeah, which I learned.
Yeah, manufacturers always say like must use Cos or must use Tomei fluid only, but in reality, 1 4-ounce bottle of your preferred friction modifier is totally fine. So before, I used to use the Ford friction modifier, which works really well. The problem is it really stinks.
Oh, okay.
Like if it gets on your clothes, forget it. It's gonna stink, and it stinks to the point where it like burns your eyes.
Oh.
Yeah. Whereas like so today we used AMSOIL slip lock.
Yeah.
And we dumped in the whole bottle. So typically, if you have an OEM LSD, you only need half of the bottle, so 2 ounces. But because I physically felt like, wow, something's really like this LSD is a lot stronger than normal, I put in the full 4 ounces.
Yeah,
right?
Okay. Yeah.
And it worked because
it dries smooth. It dries very smooth.
Yeah, it's quiet and it locks up too.
Yeah.
So let's see. We went over engine oil, gear oils, power steering fluid. What else do we have in that thing?
Spark plugs. I heard you run copper, right? Copper is better or than platinum. I heard there's a debate on it. I think Platinum lasts longer, but it does not create the spark high enough for our cars. So you should always run copper.
Yeah.
That's what I hear too.
I'm not an expert on spark plugs.
Okay.
But I'll tell you this. What I've heard is, yeah, like the double platinum ones will last longer.
Yeah.
But something with copper plugs is better for our cars that I've heard. It's just that they have a shorter lifespan. So I personally run copper plugs. And because I track the car, like I've read somewhere that if you track the car, you should be changing your plugs like just every year, regardless what plugs you have. And yeah, copper plugs have been fine for me.
Yeah.
If what you say is true, is like that's what you're supposed to run, then I guess
that's
that's no problem too. Yeah.
And I think also, I think if you guys know Billzilla, the website, I think every Corolla should know the.
Oh, Billzilla.
Yeah. I think I was reading up on it. It said that if your spark plug's bad, just toss it. Do not even try regrapping it or anything. Just toss it, replace it.
Yeah, back in the days, they used to have like a sandblaster machine to clean spark plugs.
Yeah.
Or like people would regap spark plugs.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, plugs are so cheap nowadays.
Yeah,
like your best plugs only. Your best double platinum plug's only $10.
Yeah.
Is it worth $10 for you to and then like risk failure again?
Yeah.
Just get another spark plug, man. Yeah.
I think we've gone through most of it.
Yeah.
I think that's. Get T3 shifter. What's a shifter?
Bushings.
Bushings. Get that. That's a good.
How'd you feel about those shifter bushings?
It's crisp
compared
to like a worn out one where like when you're in gear you can still like move it left and right. This one's like crisp.
I was gonna say like yours weren't even there, so
yeah but like mine were just like they just like into dust.
Yeah. I highly recommend the T3 shifter bushings, which if you are local to Battle Garage is also a distributor for T3. So yeah, if you're local to Battle Garage, they got them in stock, so yeah, feel free to come on down. That's one of those things where like you may be doing something last minute on your car with your shifter out and you're like, oh shit, the bushings aren't even there. Who has them? Battle Garage has them in stock, so
that's where I got mine. So
really?
Yeah, I got every part I got so far is from here.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
It's like right here. It's like only like a 20-minute drive. I don't have to like get it shipped to me.
Awesome.
I just pick it up.
Yeah. Let's see. Any last questions?
I think that's what were your impressions on driving the car? Because you did drive it too.
Yeah.
Did we answer this?
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah.
Smoother than I thought it would be. Shifting was smoother than I thought it would be. I was really happy with it. Not every road test I have on a rebuilt T50 feels this good.
Oh, that's.
If you can imagine, like every T50, there's so many tolerance differences.
Yeah.
And then like how many new parts you put into it. Some of them is like does not shift as smooth, but it's because they need the break-in time.
Yeah.
Whereas, sometimes like just by chance, this one was great. Like, I'm totally happy with this one.
Yeah.
It sounds like you are too.
Yeah,
so.
I was like compared to like how it was before. Of course, a lot better.
Yeah. And then. Yeah, so I'm definitely happy with this one. We talked about you need a clutch pedal bushings in that thing.
Yeah.
Which should again like improve like the driving quality and the shift feel.
Yeah.
The weighted shifter I like.
Yeah.
I think the weighted shifter helped out with shift feel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm overall happy with it. And again like it hasn't broken in. This is with the cheap fluid.
Yeah.
It's only gonna get better from here. Yeah. So definitely look forward to that.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So on that note, we'll close this podcast. Thank you again for your patience today, man. I know it's been the whole day.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything. I'm glad to help because I learned so much.
Awesome.
Yeah,
man.
so
I'm
it was a good experience.
I'm glad you learned. Thanks for your patience. Like, thanks for your support.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Of course.
Yeah. And let's see. At the end of every podcast, do you want to give any shout outs?
If you need your transmission rebuilt, please ask Ezekiel.
Yeah, I'm not doing T50s anymore. if you want me to build your T50, you better. I don't know, man. I
better pay up. There's a price.
There's a price.
But yeah, if you need any help, especially or like even car help, I think you should ask Ezekiel. He knows his stuff. He knows.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I was gonna say shout out to Battle Garage for being local and offering like local pickup for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's tough like to have somewhere local like this if you have like a niche car where you can like genuinely like walk in and pick up your parts and like ask knowledgeable people.
Yeah,
that's tough if you have niche anything.
Yeah,
even like non-niche stuff, like if you even go to like Home Depot or something, it's hard to get a straight answer, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So yeah, man, shout out to Battle Garage, man. Yeah,
they know their stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
They know their stuff.
Yeah. All right, cool. Thanks again, man.
Yeah, of course. Thanks.